Hello and welcome back to Danganronpa Lapse. On the last episode we got to the new floor, I suppose is the best way to describe it. We're still exploring. And now it's just a matter of choosing where do we want to explore. We've met everyone, I believe, character-wise, but we have not met Canon in the sense of her talent. I'm curious about the spa lounge, I suppose I am. I think that's what I said last time. Because I think that's where we're going to most likely use to relax. Let's explore the spa lounge. We inspected the map for a route to the spa and made our way there in no time at all. Who are we running into? That is the question. Seashells. The spa lounge was serene and welcoming. A shallow pool was laid into the marble floor, a mesmerizing opalescent, I'm assuming. Yeah. Well, the ceiling mirrored the pool above. Nice. Several simple relaxation lounges lined the walls for general leisure. Or leisure, take your pick on how you want to pronounce it. Off to the side was a storeroom stocked with perfumey inventory and scented oils, bath soaks, and skincare products. Just by the storeroom doorway sat a familiar kiosk. I'd love to spend some time here. I would imagine a lot of people would. I mean, even if it's not just a lounge, there's a pool. Pandora sat in one of the lounge chairs, stretching her arms above her head before relaxing with her hands on her lap. But now that I think about it, are facilities like this meant to be self-run by the resident students? Or residing students? Sure, why not? It's a good habit to get into. Pandora brought up an interesting observation. The kitchen offered fully automated meals, but they still provided an option for having the student utilize the kitchen and tools. Peeking into the storeroom, I saw a separate hallway of individual private rooms labeled for certain services: facial, massages, and aromatherapy. You might be right. There are all these little specialized rooms for all sorts of specific equipment. If you consider my talent in arts, there might be a racetrack and golf course outside, along with other outdoor recreation talents, like angling and skiing. Specific, examples. Perhaps that would be a very exciting prospect. That could mean all the other facilities and activities have features that are tuned according to certain talents. Yeah, just from the glance, I figured the study, it was just a library, but I suppose there are other resources there that, as well, that are fitted for talents that require research and writing. To think such an extraordinary place existed before to benefit as many pursuits of equally extraordinary people. I mean, why not, right? Because everything's got, like, specific things, like, unique to each, yeah. So why, yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't. So do either of you have anything special to train in besides Ultimate Student? I would assume animal care and bakery, right? Jene Panspa? I don't speak French, please. Why you do this? Although some could say that I bake too much, I simply suspect my pastries have ended up in the right hands for me to be considered. I don't really do anything special either. I also race quite a bit, but most of the time is spent plainly practicing. Like Pandora, they may have been a scout in the audience. I honestly couldn't say. I see. So just putting in the hours, so to speak, huh? Perhaps we were just lucky enough to have been selected for this opportunity to meet others cut from the same cloth, right? If you say so. I couldn't agree more. I'm very charmed to be in such a delightful company. How long is that going to be for, though? That's the question. Neither of them seemed to be to do anything particularly intensive to earn their title. Well, yeah. I wondered about the others, whether or not they were trained, or if they, too, were just lucky enough to be selected. Well, Art said he did it as a hobby, right, with his grandfather? So, maybe he was a friend of the grandfather? After taking a beat to relax in the spa lounge, we made our way to the climbing center next. How's it gonna look? Honestly, I'm impressed. I expected it just to be like an L-shaped wall, which there is one, but there's a lot more of that as well. This is a very big room. The climbing center was a vibrant and spacious place. The artificial rock and arch formations that craved the walls reached upwards for what looked like to be 3 stories high towards the bright, naturally lit ceiling. I feel like this is a perfect place for a murder to take place, but we haven't seen all the areas, so where would a body be found? My current bet is this place because it is so big and you could use height to your advantage. Off the side was a preparation locker full of ropes and harnesses, as well as a small vending machine full of energy drinks and water bottles. That's very generous of them. I appreciate that. I'm not much of a sporty person, but it is alluring me. It is attracting me to want to take part. Oop. Oh, this place is huge. I couldn't imagine how anyone gets up there. By climbing? I craned my neck up, inspecting the array of colourful crypts that dotted the sprawling ascending surface. The hanging ropes disappeared into the ceiling of the lights. That actually reminds me, is the different coloured rocks specific for like training? Like you can only touch like blue rocks to climb. Is that like a challenge to self-impose? Or is it just to make it brightly coloured? Is that why? Always something I've wondered about. I'm worried about colour. The world is certainly full of interesting people and talents. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. Pandora poked out of from under of the arch of the formations, just as taken with the incredible height as I was. That's for sure. I'm an athlete, but I can't say I excel here. Well, yeah, your talents are more so making other people run. Are we really sure you can call yourself an athlete? It's the horse that's doing the exercise and the motions. You're more like the coach, the trainer, right? It's like saying you run a race as a driver for like the NASCAR or the F1. You didn't run the race. You drove in the race. You participated in the race. You are a racer, but you aren't the one who ran. I don't have any good tolerance for heights. That's fair. You say as the tallest person here. If you don't mind me asking, how did you two discover your talents anyway? Well, if they don't know how they were scouted, I would imagine a letter. Like, oh, you've been crowned the ultimate of this. Thanks for taking part. I actually pondered the question for a second. I was raised in the countryside on a farm, so it probably came to me like a second nature. Makes sense. As a child, I yearned for the mines. Going to a racetrack with my father was honestly just another errand. That is, until he let me ride the horse myself. I felt a love for the exhilarating competition at that point. I was homeschooled by my mentors. One a teacher and one a prolific baker. They told me everything I know about baking. I also cherished the enjoyment of people felt when tasting my baked goods. Eventually, I too felt a love for the task at hand. That's fair. Well, you two are truly incredible. So we're getting backstory on these, but since Echo doesn't know what talent he has, are we going to get backstory on who Echo is? Echo, you're an incredible person too. Don't let labels deter you from speaking to us as anything but your peers. Is that going to change? Once the murder's going to take part, are people going to be like, nope, shut up, you have no talent? I don't know about that. Yeah, Echo, don't think too much about the title stuff. We're still people, you know? Wait, some people are about to be corpses. Unless Danganronpa Lapse is just, like, well, not necessarily a dating sim, but the school mode. And no one dies, and I'm just spending every day wondering when the murder's going to take place. Don't think too much about the title stuff. Such a remarkable feat should be difficult to put aside. Not really. One rides horses, the other one makes stuff in the kitchen. I mean, with the right mindset, you can just kind of dismiss people's achievements. Not saying we should, but it is possible. Like, you can go to art and say, well, cool, he uses a stick to hit balls. Just putting it down to the simplest thing. Who else is there? There's Missy. Missy just has common sense to say the right things. Common sense, thinking before she speaks. Easy, that's what Missy is. Who else is there? Cyrus, ultimate charisma guy. He's just a likable person, I suppose. That would be the title. Who else? There was also the shy girl. Sei, right? It was S-E-I, Sei. She was a watchmaker. I don't know. A watchmaker is pretty simple as is. I think Sai's the one who beats me. Yeah. Okay. I admit defeat to Sai. There's Forte. He sings. Cool. There's Puzzle Man. Lyle. You just call him a nerd. Easy. And I think that genuinely just Sei's the only one I can't. Well, Canon too, because we don't know Canon's talent. But yeah, I think Sei's the one who trumped me. Boom. They were so humble when talking about their ultimate talents. I wonder if I could ever measure up. You can't. You have no talent. We got sidetracked on that one. My bad. Wandering about to our last destination, we finally came across the jazz club with a piano. It was a welcoming venue, warm furniture, and lighting gave the room an air of a casual elegance. Table settings for the audience occupied the majority of the space, with a small stage in the corner for the performers. The close proximity between the two made the scene that much more intimate. A small green room was behind the stage curtains, and connected to it was the equipment and instrument storage. Cool. The bar opposite the stage had shelves upon shelves of beverages locked behind a sturdy glass case. How old are we supposed to be? Because, I mean, if there's a bar here, and obviously... Because I'm assuming the ultimate waiter is a talent. But... Well, I mean, that would also imply the ultimate bartender. But... How old do we have to be to get those titles? Because, obviously, bartending, you're handling alcohol. And, yeah, fair enough. Country by country, that's a different situation. Especially since this seems to be an international thing, with Forte being Italian, I believe, and Pandora being French. So that's two Europeans. And that's what 18 is the legal age for those two to handle alcohol. I'm assuming to handle it as in not consume it, but to hand it out. Whereas I don't know about America, but I think to handle it, you still can be 18, but you have to be 21 to consume it. Obviously, I'll be informed otherwise. The point is, how can you have those talents prior to the age of where it's legal, I suppose, is the question. Yeah. Pretty classy atmosphere, huh? I was wondering how many ultimate talents have toured this room for performers. Many, I'm sure. It's well kept among the rest of the rooms. So, it'd be no surprise, but it'd be no surprise one would feel comfortable here. Then a thought crossed my mind. Do you think I could be some kind of ultimate jazz performer? Ultimate bartender? Are you old enough? Have you ever bartended in your life? Have you ever sang jazz in your life? Sang jazz? Performed jazz? Have you ever handled an instrument before, or mixed beverages? Thank you, Ashley. Reading my mind? No, but who knows? Maybe if I picked something up, I could suddenly be strucken with an ultimate talent revelation and play like a pro. Sarah said maybe it's an innate trait waiting to be discovered. How would someone else discover it before us, though? It just occurred to me that perhaps these rooms aren't just for students with existing skills, but they could also be a sandbox for budding talents. True, that's a fair thought, but I'm with Ashley in the sense of, you've not tried these before, why would anyone have any inkling that these could be the thing? I suppose there's no harm in trying. Why not? I'd like to see the moment a talent has been realized. Yeah, I'm assuming that might be a happy moment. Relieved that they were supported my idea, I felt a strange confidence rising. Cheerfully, I went behind stage and picked an instrument. I thought it would suit me. Ashley and Pandora both took a seat in the front row and watched in anticipation. I don't know why that word was so tough for me. I felt like a kid going through a toy box with how many options there were. How about this cello? Go for it. This is a nice art. Not the one that's playing golf. Pandora gleefully cheered me on as I gripped the bow and placed my fingers on the strings across the neck. I laid the bow across the string. Yeah, see, they both seem supportive and calm. I was nervous, but if what Cyrus said was true, my talent was waiting to be discovered. I couldn't wait to realize it. I don't know. To try this naturally, just like in full, with an audience, it's not my kind of thing. I would try on my own first. I took a deep breath and drew the bow, and then played terribly. Squeak. Yeah. Definitely not. And well, at least Ashley's keeping it together. Thank you, Pandora, for stifling the laughter. The sound I created tore through the air like a giant rubber duck was being unceremoniously stepped on. It was awful. I saw Ashley and Pandora flinch from the sound, but they still put on brave face for my sake. I chuckled nervously and gently placed the instrument back where it originally was. I guess not. Guess that's not it then. I wobbled off stage and plopped down weirdly at the table, with Ashley and Pandora. I was beyond embarrassed. I mean, you tried. Good job, man. Oh, don't despair. You just haven't found it yet. Yeah, Echo, not just anyone can handle an instrument. I mean, I thought that thing was supposed to be played like a giant guitar. Oh, really? I'm surprised you even knew how to approach holding it. I've seen performers do performers before, so I just imitated what I saw. That makes sense. Pandora held my hand in a firm grip. Listen, we're going to find out what your talent is. If we have to play 100 instruments poorly, at least we'll know we're one step closer to reaching our goal. That's supportive, thank you. Pandora reassured me and Ashley gave me a warm smile. Thanks, you too. Come on, let's keep exploring. Okay, where else is there to go? There's the big room. Not the rock climber. We left the jazz pub. Outside the room, we ran into an unperturbed Cyrus and Lyle in the hallway at the foot of the entryway. Hello there. Having a fulfilling time exploring? Yeah, totally. I still felt a little exasperated from the cello mishap, but tried to play it off as best as I could. What's up with you? Don't tell me you're already tired. There's still a lot to explore. Well, please. It isn't a race to make ourselves familiar with all the different rooms. No, we were actually just about done with it over here anyway. It was just my luck that the room appeared to be soundproof, based on their lack of adverse reaction. It seems neither Cyrus or Lyle heard the disastrous sound of a cello being poorly utilized. Then the sound of a ringing and a voice rang through the speakers. Your attention please, all students assemble in the second floor atrium for a special welcome ceremony. The five of us collectively made our way to the requested location, chatting about our discoveries along the way. Okay, well at least half of us are already here. Still surprised. This is a great room. I don't see myself leaving my room specifically enough in this situation, but this is, honestly, I like this room. The end of the second floor hall fed directly into the spacious, airy locale. Natural light poured in through the high glass ceiling. A lush tree that framed, I don't know why it was farming, framed the circular lobby reached towards the sky, well past the ring of decorative plants that occupied the second floor. Small shrubbery lined the base of the trees in a circular fashion, following the framing of the ellipse shape of the room. A well-maintained living wall lines the first floor's foundation. Okay, oh, I see stairs behind it. Yeah, fair enough. A bronze globe at the center of the atrium drew the room together. A light and warmth flooded my body, filling me with serenity. Whoa! A familiar, excitable voice cut through the air, disturbed that serenity. Check this place out. Dang, wouldn't it be awesome if they had a mini golf set up in here? How cute would that be? I think it would be on the first floor. Still though, it's going to be very quiet if you die off, because yeah, you were loud. Plenty cute. Thanks Missy for babysitting. Yeah, sure, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, Saya. To be stuck with art. Not saying art's a bad person, but definitely I don't see the pairing working. Art and Missy entered the atrium from the foyer stairway entrance. I was surprised to see Missy still hanging out with Art, along with a timid Say trailing behind him no less. Slowly, our populace gathered in the center of the atrium hall. Cannon and Forte leisurely made their way in much later than the rest of us, but arrived regardless. I saw the students I had previously met, but afterwards no one else came. Kind of a tiny class, huh? I mean, yeah, there's only 10 of us. That's about half a class usually. Oh, we have the panoramic view. It's cannon off on the side. So there were 10 of us, including myself. Art whispered the same observation I made. It was true that our class was rather small, but we were really going to be doing... Well, are we really going to be doing learning here? Also, why are we all facing the same direction? Especially with ourselves, I guess. So I'm trying to think, because everyone seems to have a symbol on them in some way. Like Forte's scarf thing, Ashley's wristband, even Echo's, well, Art's shirt, Echo's vest. I mean, Lyle has a bunch of pins. That could be anything. I conceded calling a group of students a class was appropriate. hologram visual was presented at the centerpiece globe. A familiar voice came through in the overhead speakers. It was the same announcer from earlier in the dining hall. This is a special announcement indicating the welcome of all present students. The Preservation Project Group would like to humbly welcome you to our provided safe house. So, this is the Preservation Project. That was what was predicted. By Odd, I believe it was. As you are well aware, the safe house has been sequestered off from the growing concerns of disaster. You need not worry any longer for those concerns here. Disaster? Please explain. I peered across the room to see expressions of affirmation. Everyone seemed to be having relating concerns. I knit my brow. As ultimate students, we've provided you with the best amenities and environments to most efficiently cultivate your skills and talents in utter safety. Why are we here then? You may utilize the facilities to the fullest extent during the requisite hours. However, do not think this is simply a safe house. This location is more than equipped for you to thoroughly indulge yourselves in exquisite experiences such as... You are invited to enjoy yourselves freely. Welcome all to the Apothegm. Yeah? Awesome! Thanks, Art. Art audibly pumped his fist in the air. Audibly. Although no one else displayed such a loud presentation of excitement, the others outdid. But the problem was that I announced it, therefore I didn't. Damn. The other students were vividly talking amongst themselves at the prospect of such blessing regardless. The projection cut out as the announcement concluded. The students began to wonder again, likely to try out what the climbing center in the spa lounge had to offer. Yeah, why not? I mean, you could go from the climbing lounge, have a good sweat, go to the spa. Yeah, I'm assuming the spa would have, in some way, showers to wash off said sweat and relax in the pool. Let the muscles, ease themselves. Everyone seemed to be breaking up into their own groups while I stood still. I mean, we're the only one who does not have a talent. Well, that's not true. What's canon? Canon might be something. I was excited, but a feeling of uncertainty stirred in the depths of my mind, suffocating my enthusiasm. What talent are we? Did I really belong here? As far as I knew, I wasn't an ultimate student. No intense talents, no masterful skills, not even interesting experiences. I started to feel sick with anxiety. Hi, Echo. I'm just going to the spa with Pandora. Would you like to join us? Well, yes, but is it appropriate? That is the question. Actually, his voice brought me out of my thoughts. No thanks. You two go ahead. I'm actually feeling a little tired from all the running around. I think I'll just take a nap. Well, isn't that the whole point of the spa, is to relax? Ashley looked at me with silent, understanding eyes. All right then. If you change your mind, you know where to find us. She gave me another quick hug before pairing off with Pandora. Ash, why didn't you tell me about your talent? You didn't ask. I muttered under my breath before sulking off. I trudged downstairs, back to the first floor foyer. There I saw Cannon, almost in the same position as where I first met her. She didn't tell me if she had an ultimate talent when we introduced ourselves. Perhaps she didn't, but she doesn't have one either. I thought about approaching her to ask, but my throat felt dry. I didn't feel like being disappointed in the case she did have an ultimate talent. I mean, you may as well ask, right? I quickly turned the corner before Cannon could notice me when... Click! I heard the sound of a shutter clicking. Turning at the sound, I saw Canon developing a picture from an instant camera. Hmm. Huh. And you have a camera? What do you mean, how? I thought we were disallowed our personal possessions. I didn't have anything in my room when I asked Ash. She said she didn't have anything of hers in her room either. I'm a photographer. I need my tools, don't I? Is that telling us what you are? So you're the ultimate photographer? Cannon didn't reply. She just bowed her head with a slight nod. Well then, looks like you're not getting what you wanted, Echo. Then the picture you just took. She reluctantly handed me a developed photo. I'm not gonna lie, that looked hilarious. That looked like someone had just shrunk down Echo. Her photo captured the moment I had begun to turn down the hall to avoid speaking to her. I thought she hadn't noticed me. Seems like she did, and it seems like we're out of time. If you're curious to how this develops, well, you know what? Yeah, I'll go with the pun. How this develops. Please stick around, and I hope I can see you in the next one. With that, goodbye.